How to get approved for more credit and a higher limit. If you're planning to apply for a credit card, don't just apply and hope for the best. What you do in the 30 days before that application can actually change how your profile looks to a lender. First, stop applying for everything. If you're about to apply for an important credit card, don't spend the month before it opening random accounts, applying for loans, and collecting hard inquiries. The bank may see a bunch of recent applications and wonder, why is this person suddenly looking for so much credit? One application isn't automatically a problem. The pattern is what matters. Next, check what the bank is actually going to see. Don't just look at your credit score. Look at your credit reports. Check your balances, credit limits, payment history, recent inquiries, new accounts, and anything that doesn't belong there. Because a 720 score doesn't tell the lender everything. Your credit profile is the story behind the score. Watch your reported balances. Here's a move people overlook. The balance you see in your banking app isn't necessarily the balance that gets reported to the credit bureaus. So if you're preparing for an application, understand when your accounts report. You don't want to unnecessarily walk into an application with your cards showing high balances if you could have managed them beforehand. Don't suddenly max out your cards. You might know you're going to pay the balance off. The bank doesn't know that. If your credit report shows that you're suddenly using a huge percentage of your available credit, that can make your profile look more leveraged. You're trying to show the lender, I can use credit without depending on it. Know your DTI. This is another number people overlook. Your debt-to-income ratio looks at your monthly debt obligations compared with your gross monthly income. You can have a great credit score and still have trouble getting additional credit if too much of your income is already committed to debt payments. So before applying, know exactly where you stand. And don't start closing accounts randomly. People sometimes see an old card they don't use and think, I should just close it. Not necessarily. Closing a revolving account can reduce your available credit and potentially affect your utilization. If you're preparing for a major application, don't make unnecessary changes to your profile right beforehand. Now let's say you get approved. You applied. The bank approved you, but they gave you a $3,000 limit. Don't automatically assume that's your permanent limit. This is where how you manage the account after approval becomes important. Now how to ask your bank for a higher credit limit. You don't want to approach the bank like, give me more money. You're asking the lender to increase the amount of risk it's willing to take with you. So the real question is, have you given the bank enough evidence to justify giving you more? That means building a history of responsible account management. Use the card. Pay as agreed. Avoid constantly maxing it out. Don't miss payments. And give the lender enough time to see your behavior. Don't carry a balance just to impress the bank. This is one of the biggest myths. You don't need to pay interest just to prove you're responsible. Carrying debt isn't a requirement for getting a higher limit. Responsible management is the point. Update your income when appropriate. If your legitimate income has increased since you opened the card, that can become relevant when requesting a credit limit increase. The bank wants to know whether your current financial situation supports additional credit. That's why you should know your income, monthly debt payments, existing credit limits, current balances, credit history. Because now you're not just asking for more credit. You're showing the bank why the request makes sense. How to increase your chances of getting a higher credit limit. There's no magic phrase you can say to guarantee a $10,000 or $20,000 limit. Instead, think about the factors that can make your profile stronger. Payment history. Are you consistently paying as agreed? Income. Does your income support additional credit? Debt. Are your monthly obligations already high? Utilization. Are you constantly pushing your cards toward their limits? Account history. Has the lender had enough time to see how you manage the account? Recent applications. Does your credit report suddenly show a bunch of new credit-seeking activity? Relationship with the bank. Depending on the lender, your existing relationship can provide additional information about your financial behavior. None of these guarantees approval. But here's the real takeaway. The best time to prepare for a higher credit limit isn't the day you request one. It's before you apply for the card in the first place. Prepare your profile. Apply strategically. Manage the account responsibly. Then, when you eventually ask for more credit, you're not just saying, give me a higher limit. You're giving the bank a history that says, you already trusted me with credit, I handled it responsibly, and my financial situation supports more. That's a much stronger position to be in.